I'm pleased to be joined by New Orleans Breakers quarterback McLeod Bethel-Thompson, Mac for short. Mac, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, brother, I'm excited about this. There are a number of topics that I want to get into with you, but we're going to start with surface and landscape. You guys get to play the defending USFL champions in Birmingham at Protective Stadium. You're both 2-0. It is my most exciting game of the week. What do you think about that team so far? What have you seen on film, and what's the challenge to unseat the defending champs?
No, I absolutely love it. This is the games that you want to play. You know, they're clearly a good defense. They've clearly been playing together for a season now plus, and you can see that on film. You can see how they can adjust. They run multiple coverages, multiple fronts. They're bringing blitzes from different sides, complicated scheme, and they got good, confident players. So we we haven't started so well the last two games. So it's about us coming out and starting faster and then being able to handle their experience. You know, they are going to throw a lot at us. There are going to be more multiple, more varied in their blitz packages and their coverage packages. So we're excited. This is why you play the game of football. You don't want to play the easy opponents that you just walk over. You want to play the good players, you know, and the good teams and the good defenses, because that's how you test, you know, sharpen your sword. So this is a big game for us, and because it's the next game. So we're excited to go out there and test our mettle and see how good we are.
I hear you on starting fast. I know Coach Flip has been able to really get that out of you guys in going, hey, look, I would like us to score points in the first half and play good football in the first half so we don't have to come on like gangbusters in the second half to finish games. But you guys have been able to do that. It's been exciting to see, taking care of the football, getting timely plays on defense. Yourself in particular, along with guys like Vontae Diggs, who have been veterans, not just in this league, but in other leagues, is really coming to show. But I want to talk about you for a little bit, getting your background. 7 NFL teams, 3 stints with the Niners, Arena League, United Football League, Grey Cups, 2 of them in the Canadian Football League. Hey, man, you've been doing this since 2011. Why do you want to do this in the USFL?
You know, because I'm still chasing my best game. I'm still chasing that best player. You know, for a long time early in my career, especially if you're looking at college and then through the NFL, there wasn't a lot of game time there. Whether it be injuries in college or you know, bouncing around the NFL and not playing. And so I'm still chasing my best self. I'm still chasing what kind of quarterback I can turn myself into. Quarterback's such a unique position. It's so dependent on the 10 bodies or 11 bodies around you, that your success is so dependent on them. It's about you being the secret sauce that can kind of make every play work. So it's as much a physical, emotional, and spiritual kind of excellence that you can elevate on every play to kind of make that play work. So I'm still chasing that perfect game, you know, that where I can control the whole game and move the team up and down the field and put the ball exactly where I want to put it, 45 yards down the field on the hash, you know, and do that repeatedly over and over and do it for 65 plays in a game. So the USFL is a great opportunity this year because it allows me to do family and football at the same time. And do it on a national stage for my family and loved ones to watch it, you know, here in the States. So I'm excited to just play good football and put that complete game together.
For those that do not know, from Sacramento State to this journey into professional football, but you also not just picked up this awesome beard, which rivals my own, frankly. Like I don't run into that a whole lot. People usually comment on my beard game. I got to comment on yours, but I'm really impressed with your family, right? One of the things that I thought was cool about the first time I got to cover a New Orleans Breaker game this season is they did put a spotlight on Chinaka and what she's been doing and how she got there. Now, full disclosure, right? My partner is white. We watch a lot of Def Poetry just to cool out. And she said, wait, Chinaka Hodge? I said, yeah. Oh, you better treat her right. And I said,
Oh, the legend. The legend.
I'm
Yeah,
saying, I'm right. You know what I'm saying?
watch
But among other things, she's a head writer for Ironheart, which is going to come out on Disney Plus, right? Based on the character Riri Williams. I believe she's going after the Eve Ewing part, but that's getting into the weeds, comic books. I want to really unpack that, right? Because it also means that you get to talk about Aziza. And wait, while I'm here, Aziza Bethel-Thompson Hodge, is that what we got?
Aziza Celia Island Bethel-Thompson Hodge. So Celia
Wow.
Island is her middle name. Celia is my great aunt's name from El Salvador. Celia, and then Island is spelled Eiland, is my wife's family's last name. So yeah, so she's got a doozy. I got a long one too now. So game's on. When I got stuck with McLeod John Baltazar Bethel-Thompson. So I had to stick my daughter with Aziza Celia Island Bethel-Thompson just for a little, parental torture.
Well, hey, I'm Roy Alexander Zenas Young. They all call me RJ. So it's something about that, right? But I did want to talk about just what it means for you to have your wife, or excuse me, your partner in Birmingham as you guys go through this, because one of the things that I learned from her is she wasn't a football fan. Matter of fact, the way she put it to me is my mama used to make me watch football on punishment, but she loves you. And man, I'm telling you, I'm a football guy, college football guy, first football guy. I'm sitting next to her and she is absolutely losing her mind while you're out there making plays. And she's right on top of it, as Dakota Prukop is also keeping watch on Aziza. You guys have really created a great family unit down there. And I just wanted to hear how that came together for you.
Well, I want to go back for a second talking about beards. So I'm definitely gonna talk about family, because I will talk about Shanaka all day long, every day. But I want to talk about beards. So this beard is the longest it's been. And I want to say, so our Grey Cup this last year in November was in Saskatchewan, in Regina, Saskatchewan, and it was -12. So I feel like there was some Norse roots and some Viking heritage that like kicked in, and it's like, hey, it's game time, guys. Let's grow this thing, So that's why the beard came about, and I want to put a little backstory on that. But to family, it means everything. The sacrifice, the continued sacrifice that Shanaka makes for my career is humbling, and it makes me want to go out there and play better and enjoy every moment. Of course, Birmingham wasn't nothing's wrong with Birmingham, but it was not her first choice as to where to be this at this time of her career.
She's from Oakland.
Yeah. She's from Oakland. She could be in LA, she could be in Atlanta, she could be in the Mecca, she could be meeting with the top dogs in Hollywood. She does it on a day-to-day basis, and she has to take a plane flight to do that, or and she's always there. She's there week in, week out. Every other week she takes a trip out to LA, and I want to get into all of her business, but she's willing to make that sacrifice for me to play this crazy game. And it just speaks to all the football players, and how sitting behind every football player, every great football player, is a community. We go through physical, emotional, and spiritual roller coasters to play this game that it's all in. You got to be all in to play football. You got to put your body, soul, and mind on the line on a weekly basis. And as a result, you ride that roller coaster. And so behind all football players is a community, whether it be parents or loved ones or wives or daughters or sons, or everything that's what I see most. And I don't think is cherished or celebrated enough, is that support network and what it takes to support a football player, because they don't function and they don't play at that level if they don't have that support network.
That's 100% correct. I also have a dream of having a Coach's Wife podcast where I just get to talk with players' wives, coaches' wives about what it is, because as you mentioned, I got so much respect for it.
That would be next level. Let me know, because you'd get some stories, you'd get some doozies.
Wouldn't you though? Like not for nothing, but you football coach, you don't know what the mortgage bill is. You ain't got to make grocery. You ain't got to make sure people got pants on, dog. You got to go coach football. That's your job. Everybody else is taking care.
I got a quick tangent. Here's a Nick Saban story. I don't know Nick Saban, but a quick story. So I heard this story, third party, but you know how all stories go. So Nick Saban was in high school, and he was with like this girl in high school, and she was dating somebody else. And so it took a number of years for him to kind of court her and kind of get her away from this other guy. And finally they got together, ended up being his long-term wife. And they were back visiting in high school. I think they were going to a high school reunion. Yep. And they were driving past, and the guy had owned a car dealership. Mm-hmm. And in town where they were back home, in their hometown, he owned a car dealership. And Nick Saban turned to his wife and he said, hey, if you had married him, you could have been running that car dealership. Kind of like, Nick, nudge, nudge, like instead you're with the head coach of Alabama football. And his wife said, no, if I would have married him, he would have been the head coach of Alabama right now.
Dude, I've told that story like 3 times on this show. I love it so much. It's awesome, because that is Miss Terry, right? And that is their relationship. He understands. Yes. She talks about how we moved to Alabama, and we looked at Alabama as another LSU. Right. No, you're nailing it, dog. You're nailing it. I do want to get back to you just a little bit here, though, because I'm 35. You turned 35 this summer. I'm still growing up in what I do for a living, right? Like, there are people that do my job well into their 60s. As you are, I believe, the oldest player in the league, what is it that you want beyond that perfect game that you're seeking?
I would say, first of all, there's a wise poet once said, an ancient scribe once said, and said, age ain't nothing but a number.
Hmm.
So I think that, first of all, age doesn't mean anything. I think everyone's chasing their own story. And I do get those old, that kind of old tag that I have been through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what am I trying to share? I'm trying to sell a little bit of experience. I mean, and for what it takes the Breakers to go win a championship, we're gonna have to build a brotherhood in the locker room. That's what it takes. You can do all the X's and O's. You got to have the talent. We have the talent. Everyone has the talent. But what makes a championship DNA is how you handle the locker room, how you handle a hard practice on Tuesday. How are your leaders stepping up? How are you knowing who your teammates are beside you? Do you know who they are as people as much as you know who they are as players? That's what the bond that ties together and how you win a championship. So that's universal. And so with my experience, what can I share? Maybe I'm talking a little bit more. Maybe I'm sharing a little bit more with my teammates than I would. Maybe I'm opening myself up to the mistakes that I made early on, not taking care of my body or doing this that I made at a young age. And I can share that story with them. And my teammates are asking those questions. So along the way, I think I'm just trying to be as much of an open book as I can, be as honest as I can, be as humbled as I can, while trying to play the best ball I possibly can and be the best player in the league. So it's kind of that dual side of both of it. And yeah, I do get old tag and it gets old, but I'm down to prove it that I still got the juice and I still got that young energy as well on a week in, week out basis.
Man, I'm excited to see it, right? I love your vibe. I love how you were getting down with the Breakers. I love that you seem to be a calming influence on Coach DeFilippo, who seems to be a very passionate man like myself. So it's like, Coach, I got you, as that man is out there running on a boot, talking about I'm going to get it done. Yeah, man, I'm very excited to see what you guys can do on Saturday. McLeod Bethel-Thompson, thanks so much for taking time to do the show.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Let's do it again sometime.